understanding of the Illuminati and secret societies? Because a lot of people hear about this phrase and this word is being, it's heavily used on the internet, and it's linked with music, the control of corporations. And like, I always go back to what my uncle would say. He's Irish, and he would just be, he's the sort of person, he loves his beer, he loves to go to the pub, and loves to watch Sky News. To him, the idea that anything else is kind of controlling the world or has an effect on us in an energetic sense is complete rubbish. What's your take on secret societies, Illuminati, and...
Right, so if you look at secret societies, it's masculine driven.
Okay.
All the esoteric, it's masculine driven. There's nothing feminine about it. And by
when you say esoteric, will you just explain what esoteric means?
Hidden, the occult.
The occult?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you think in terms of masculine and feminine as having absolutely nothing to do with gender, we misinterpret that by thinking because we have male and female, it's gender. It's not. Think energy, frequency, and vibration. They're creative forces that manifest in different ways. And so the masculine, it's always external. And it's always about grabbing things and holding them to themselves. The feminine is about giving birth to them. The masculine is about dominance and control, willpower. And so what the secret societies were, let's just gather this information to ourselves, because if we have this, then we can help each other to succeed. Because we don't know and we don't believe that we can do it just because everything comes out of the ethers anyway. So we're going to control it. And if we control the knowledge, then only us can participate, the old boys network. And if only us participate, then only us can get wealthy, which suddenly removes that communal energy of us all being a part of the whole to us having power over it. Service to self will always take you into darkness.
Service to self.
Yeah.
So is this what
rather
we're
than
seeing?
Service to others.
Others,
yeah.
right.
But is this what, sorry?
Is this the construct that we're seeing with our government, with the state of the world? Yeah. Would you say it was very
Definitely,
masculine?
it's masculine. It's us against them. It's my country against your country. It's my political party against your political party. It's my this against yours. It's my stature against yours. It's me controlling. I mean, how can you imagine that a millionaire is going to be able to determine what a working class person needs or doesn't need, or how they think or feel? We can't. It's masculine. I tell you, I control you. And so when you look at the word Illuminati, for example, which on the outside looks like illumined and something good, it's just another way of creating deception. And that's what we do. In the lower worlds, in our physical world, what looks like a certain thing isn't really that. Yeah. You see what I mean?
Yes,
so if I tell you I'm creating these systems that's going to help you, it doesn't really mean it's going to help you.
Yeah.
It might just be that it's helping me.
Yeah.
So anything external is under the guise of being corrupted.
But is there anything wrong with having this masculinity, or is it out of balance? Or if we had too much female energy, would that be? Okay,
I'm going to take it to a personal level.
Yeah.
Imagine, and this is symbolically, I'm going to first explain how the creative forces work. So symbolically, you have a caveman and his wife, masculine and feminine. They're going to go for food. All that caveman, the masculine, knows is from me to whatever it is I want, that's it. Whether I throw that rock, that spear, that's it. The feminine, that's receptive, intuitive, feeling, heart, she knows she's going for food, but over there some pretty flowers, and she just thinks if I get those flowers I can brighten up the cave and everyone's going to feel in better spirits, and there's some shrubs I can use that for tea or for herbs. So she still knows she's getting food, but she's thinking of the whole of what's going to nurture the spirit and uplift them. The masculine energy is just get it done. The end result. All the things that add up to the totality of the being is completely negated. And so within all of us, we're coming to this place of balancing our own masculine and feminine. And a part of that journey is all the darkness, all the greed, all the willpower, all that masculine control, force, war, conquering is going to have to come into balance with the feminine. And so it's with the magnetic field changing, it's bringing out those things within us. And whether it's within us directly or within us through our family ancestral lineage, it's coming out.
What is that you were saying earlier about masculinity? It's being messed with. In men, it's almost like men do not know how to be. I mean, isn't this masculine force, when you tune into it, it's meant to be solid? You know, we're meant to embrace this masculinity, right? But it's a grey area. What's going on?
Well, if you look at every single thing, there's a saying, as above, so below. The difference is what it is on the above, higher awareness. On the below, it takes it into the base awareness. So what you'll have now is a lot of gender confusion. I'm in a feminine body, I feel masculine. And that's the external misunderstanding of what the higher purpose is. It's not that one is better than the other. We have them within each of us. Both adds to the whole within us. And because of all that male dominance, men are confused. Because even with the male dominance of those controlling the world, if you look at the media over the years through movies, well, men have been shown to be silly, to be not masculine, whatever that means, to be uncertain, to be all kinds of things. So while they destroy the masculine in the world, they themselves are operating from that masculine energy. But it's once again the secret society. Only us can have the benefits of that. So let's discard everyone else and let's keep them in confusion. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Because I can explain it in another way.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I want to maintain power in a neighborhood, well, I'm going to have to make sure everyone else in that neighborhood cannot touch my power. And so even though I'm one thing, I'm telling you, no, what you're looking at isn't that.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like someone, whoever he is, one of the people running in the States right now for presidency, multimillionaire, is wanting...
Trump, yeah.
No, not Trump.
Oh.
Is wanting, I think Bloomberg or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Is wanting everyone else to, die at a certain age, because if you're old, you don't need health care, and you don't need this, and you don't need that. Meanwhile, I can afford every bit of health care myself. And I'm a man, and I'm old. So at what point does elderly affect him when it doesn't the others? So there's this confusion, and it's words.
Yeah.
So you can language yourself into success or pain. And people get triggered by their emotions, and so they're responding in an emotional way. And the emotion is the feminine. And so because we've destroyed the feminine by control, we don't know how to be at peace with our emotions.
I see.
And so when we have feelings, we're going to have them medicated so that we have no feelings.
I see.
And we're starting with the kids very early. So what would have been a normal childhood, let's say 50, 60 years ago, where you could have uncomfortable feelings. Now, as soon as you have that, let's throw in some medication that we're now going to make a profit from. But these medications are also created within the demonic world, and so they're never going to add to the quality of your life. And that's why they can happily feed us poison that they know is going to have a long-term effect.
So, with all of the things that you're saying, there is evidently this dark force. There's a darker force that actually wants kind of bad things to happen to human beings.
I no longer agree with that, because in a ayahuasca ceremony, I asked that question years ago. I asked the question of, I wanted to understand about Satan and that stuff, because that had come up at the time when I was there. And I asked her, and her response, but at the time I kind of didn't understand, was the satanic forces is the neutral force that brings out what's within people. And so if you don't have greed and control and dominance and those things in you, you're not going to be receptive to them. But if they're in you, it's going to come out at some point, because this is where we are on the planet at this time.
Some would say that these satanic forces and what happens in in those realms are quite with rituals. It's very dark stuff.
Right. So what rituals do is
yeah.
rituals are trance-inducing. Any ritual will put you in a trance.
Okay.
And when you're in a trance, you're no longer fully in control of your thinking capacity.
Mm-hmm.
You've now hit a point and a place of non-physical awareness and consciousness fields.
Okay.
And if the intention are for the darker ones, because of power and greed and control, that's what you're going to tap into. If they're of the lighter ones of self-awareness, and that's what you're going to tap into. Because there is nothing but consciousness fields. And so through my intention, if I want someone, let's say I'm at work and there's a position up and I don't want anyone else to get that, well, I'm going to be sending out negative energies to the other person. And if I go into that ritual state and creating whatever that conjuring stuff is that they do, I'm going to be locked into where I'll receive the information from that level of consciousness, which is a low vibration. So it's not based on heart love, and it's not based on the goodness of everyone, but it's based on a personal response to greed and power. And so that's what rituals will do. It'll create a trance state.
After you saying that, should we be leading from the heart?
No, we should be breathing fully in our body.
Breathing.
If we think that we should lead from the heart, that's also the masculine wanting to think how things should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So just breathing within the body.
Yeah. You might have remembered, because I'm sure I probably did it with you, that I did that one breath. Did I do that?
Yeah.
And did you see how the answers came to you?
Yeah.
And did you see how you felt calm and it was safe to be in your body?
Yeah.
That's your breath.
And I was very present.
Yeah.
So things just came straight into my mind. I didn't have to think.
Yeah. But then imagine when we're not comfortable in our own body, then we can't actually access that information, and then that masculine mind comes in, that everyday brain states, masculine, will, power, control, survival, it comes in and tries to create from that surface level what it thinks it should.
But why is the world that we're living right now so messed up? It's so overturned. There's so many lies, and
it was just the accumulation of everything that's gone before in the cycle, as the cycle is changing to the new. There's a sacred geometry symbol, the Vesica Piscis, which is like two circles that are pulling apart. Are you familiar with that?
No.
It's two circles, and then there's just the center bit where they're connected.
Yes.
But it's like one's going that way. Well, what's happening is we're ending a cycle, and so we're in that middle bit.
Okay.
And some people are recycling back into the old because they're still into the anger, me.
Yeah.
Us against them. And others are like, you know what, I want a better life, I want to feel better, I want this, that, and the other, and they're moving into the new.
I see. You
And
get
so
a choice.
That's what the shift is. There's always a choice. There's always a choice. And there's always temptations, because that's the human response to life, because all of our thoughts are collective.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you might discover out of the blue this thought comes in, it's like, wow, where did that come from? It's not even how I think and feel. Because they're not your thoughts. They're like thought forms just floating around in the atmosphere. And then when you're open to them, they'll come in. And they'll come in on that energy of what you feel. Do you know, if I wish someone harm because they got something I didn't have, well, there's power, greed, and control. And that wish is going to be directed in an unphysical way to them. There's always a boomerang effect, though.
Yeah,
it's not a story. So everything we do to others, ultimately, we're going to have to experience. But anyway, go on.
How much of life do you believe is mapped out? Because I know you've got experience with past life regression. You do that, don't you? Yeah. So how much is mapped, and how much free will do you feel we have?
The older I get, the less free will I think we have. We really don't have any free will. The only free will we might have is to decide how we're going to feel about our day.
Right, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm getting to that slowly.
But when I look at people's lives and stories, that family pattern is already there. those responses are already factored in. The way of viewing the world, it's already there. How much free will do we have? If I come from a part of the world where I'm born into a certain culture, I'm going to take on everything of that culture. I can never, unless, you know, there's a few changes, relate to the whole way of other cultures being, because I feel my culture is right. Where's my free will? Yet still, if you look at it from past lives, we are born into all different cultures. We're born as different sexes, male, female, different parts of the world. But that culture might be like us against them.
Yeah, yeah.
So where's the free will to that soul that's born, that child in that culture?
Yes, yes.
I'm going to naturally take on whatever that culture says is the way life is.
Yes. And
that's why traveling is very good.
Just in
Just
general.
to experience different ways of thinking, looking, and doing. It's like opening neural pathways in the brain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the best things I've ever done. And so do you think the theme of why are we living life? What do you think? Are we here to learn themes?
I think life is pretty loaded. I mean, people like to think it's a school on Earth, but I think if you're a soul, everything is a school. Which means that life on Earth isn't just about being a school. Because if you think about school, most of us don't like school.
Yeah.
There's nothing about school, and school often makes us feel we're not good enough because there's still something more. So I think that's a meme that's been put in. Okay, so look at it this way. We're spiritual beings, consciousness, and we're coming into a physical form.
Yeah.
And I've come to the conclusion that we come in with templates. Because this is consciousness fields. And the templates might be issues with mother, neglect, abandonment, and all these different things. And so by the time you're locked into that personality or that way of being through experience, culture, and your templates, you're going to see the world in a particular way. And you can sit and argue with someone that doesn't have those feelings and viewpoints, and you can argue all day, and yet still both of you are right, coming from your perspective of where you are in the world. And yet still neither one of them might be right, because they're the limitations of the beliefs of that culture, that time, that period.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And therefore, darkness and light, what might be dark in one culture might not be dark in another culture.
Yeah.
So there's this vast diversity, but we're conditioned to believe things should be either this or that. And the reality is it's both this and that. And so throughout the cycle, what I've discovered is when they have what they call the yugas, Kali Yuga. In the West, we might speak of the Iron Age, Silver Age, and that.
Yeah.
It's to do with energetic cosmic configuration of electromagnetic energy. But what I've discovered is that if a soul is born into a culture or a cycle at a starting point, they're going to live that whole experience throughout the whole cycle. So if I'm born at the beginning of the cycle into abuse of power, well, I'm going to live throughout that whole cycle, or my soul will have different aspects and experiences all around abuse of power. So I might marry an abuser in one lifetime, I might give birth to an abuser, I might have to support an abuser, and so by the time it's all finished, I have a complete understanding of the abuse of power.
I see.
And every single thing that we experience gets added to the collective consciousness, good or bad.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we are affected, because they're energy fields, simply by the collective. And that's why you'll also find people have parts of your story. Will be like, oh my God, that is so everything me.
Yeah.
But then there'll be other parts.
Yeah.
Because they're templates that are taken from the collective. So every time we resolve things, it goes into the collective that others can tap into. And anytime others do awful things, if we're open, we can tap into that and do that. Same thing. And that's why you'll find clusters of things happening all the time.
So things happen in
because
short
it's
succession.
affecting people in maybe different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Suddenly there's this thing happening with a certain type of serial killer that you'll find it's happening somewhere else. Or someone has created or invented something that you find someone else at the same time has created and invented. It's all because of the collective. And so there's fancy words for that, like the Akashic field, the Akashic records, but it's really the collective. It's everything that we do, think, and feel gets added to it, good or bad. And how we think and feel, good or bad, we'll tap into it.